So day 3 of the 2018 NFL Draft, and as a result, the entirety of the 2018 NFL Draft is officially in the books. It was a long haul and a lot of fun. I've got that post-draft high, yet post-draft beat-down fatigue feeling. And I love every minute of it. It's like an adrenaline rush, and I can't wait to have it again next year. And I can't wait to come on here and annoy you very soon with a 2019 NFL mock draft, a way too damn early edition because, oh yeah, absolutely. So, let's talk about day 3, an eventful day, the longest day out of the 3 days of the draft, almost 7 hours on a Saturday. How else would you spend it? On the golf course, getting laid? You can do that any other time. This is the NFL Draft. Yes, it takes priority even over pussy. You can sit there and use your hand if you need to. Anyways, let's talk about the notable things, the winners and losers and best picks that were in day number 3. I'm going to start off with the winners. Honestly, Antonio Callaway is a winner here. This dude didn't just have an off-field concern or two. He had many off-the-field concerns, and it was just recently revealed that he flunked a drug test at the combine for a diluted sample after he's even admitted that he was lighting up and smoking marijuana like a dipshit. And he still was able to get drafted early in the 4th round. And he goes to a situation in Cleveland where he could have an opportunity if he keeps his head on straight. But the mere fact that he even got drafted based off of, honestly, even not meeting the kid, you get into that much trouble in that period of time, there is, to me, nothing wrong with saying the dude is an idiot. He chooses to be an idiot. And yet still was rewarded by getting drafted in the 4th round. So Antonio Callaway, I hope you understand the opportunity that you have, because you really didn't deserve to be drafted this high based off of how little you seem to care about it. But you were, and you're a winner for that. He has to be considered a winner. In terms of the teams, the Los Angeles Chargers, I liked each of their 4 picks. White, a safety in round 4. Quisenberry, a center in round 5, getting some more offensive line depth. In round 6, Dylan Cantrell from Texas Tech, who really showed out well at the combine, and I felt like was a very underrated wide receiver in this class. I had a 3rd round grade attached to him. The Chargers got him in round 6. And then Justin Jackson, the running back from Northwestern, who could be a change of pace type of guy as a role player at the running back position. I felt like the Chargers got 4 guys that can all make the roster and 4 guys that can all contribute. That's good day 3 work if you can get it. Of the Detroit Lions, I kind of like what they did with a couple of their picks in day 3. DaeShan Hand, they trade up right above the Bears to make sure that they get him. This is a guy that flashed at times at Alabama. He had a little bit of an off-the-field concern, but in the 4th round, you gamble on these type of guys. Then to turn around in the 5th round and get a guy like Tyrell Crosby that a lot of people had early to mid-day 2 grades on. You know, does he start right away? Maybe, maybe not. But does he have the ability to be a starter in the future? Absolutely. And you got him in round 5. And then taking Nick Bowden, the fullback from San Diego State, you're looking at a guy you're wanting to improve the running game in Detroit, which had to be of utmost paramount importance here. You traded up earlier in day 2 to get Kerryon Johnson. Now here in day 3, you get another potential future starter on the offensive line, maybe kicks to the interior and Tyrell Crosby. And then you've got Nick Bowden, a guy who could potentially do some different things and open up some holes for your running backs. I liked what the Lions did on day 3. I also want to call out the Philadelphia Eagles for doing well. And you got to get a little creative here. You got to look at the entirety of the picture. They got a 4th round pick in this draft for the Sam Bradford deal with Minnesota before the 2016 season. Not bad, because it clearly long-term didn't work for Minnesota. They traded a 4th round pick to get Jay Ajayi from the Dolphins in midseason, and they won a Super Bowl, and Ajayi contributed. They used a 5th round pick on day 3 earlier on day 2 to trade up to go get Dallas Goedert. So now you're talking about, You've got Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert as your top 2 tight ends. Again, not bad. Some of the players they took in round 4, you got Josh Sweat. You have major concerns about that knee, and he's never really fully recovered from that knee injury in high school. But if he can hold up well enough to even be a role player, this is a guy with some twitch on the outside. He's got that ability to make some impact as a pass rusher. That's the type of guy the defending world champions should be gambling on all day late in round 4, and that's exactly what they did. Matt Pryor from TCU, I think, is a guy that provides them some offensive line depth. And then getting the Lauletta kid from Australia, 21 years old, 6'8", 340 damn pounds. If you could teach him how to football, he could be a beast as an offensive tackle because he's an athlete. He can move. It's the type of draft a defending world champion team should have. And again, when you look at the fact they got a 4th-round pick in this draft from Sam Bradford that they were later on able to move, and they traded a 4th-round pick for Jay Ajayi, and some of the high upside gambles they took here, I thought it was a great day 3 for the Eagles. The Seattle Seahawks had a good day 3. Will Dissly is arguably the best blocking tight end in this class, and they love their inline blocking tight ends in Seattle. Well, they got the best one in the draft here in Dissly in round 4. Then, of course, the feel-good story of the draft. Shaquem Griffin, my number 38 overall ranked player in this class, reunites with his brother in Seattle. And it's a great fit for him. They run a 4-3 there in Seattle. He could potentially learn how to play off the ball and be a weak side linebacker. They could find out other ways to utilize him. He will be a special teams demon from day 1. Getting him early in round 5 was tremendous value there. Trey Flowers in round 5. We know how it's gone in the past when this team has drafted defensive backs in round 5. Trey Flowers is a bit of an athlete. He's got some upside. Michael Dixon, the punter. Punters are people too. Now they're going to be able to potentially save millions in cap space that they're paying to their punter right now. So I thought it was actually a really good day 3 for Seattle right then and there. And then they're still able to get at the end of round 5 Jamarco Jones, who I think is a future starter at offensive tackle in this league. It was a really good day 3 for them. And I think the best overall team performance might have been the Denver Broncos. They got Jewell and DaeShan Hamilton in round 4. Let me repeat. They got Jewell and DaeShan Hamilton in round 4. They got Jewell, who I think is a year 1 starter inside at some point, and Hamilton, who was one of the best route runners with some size, too, at the wide receiver position. They got both of them around 4. They got a nice role-playing, balanced tight end in Fumagalli in round 5. That was a really good performance at the beginning of day 3 for the Broncos. I really liked what Elway did here. But, of course, there were some losers, too. Iyiegbuniwe St. Brown. I had a 2nd-round grade on him. A lot of other people had 2nd, 3rd, or even 4th-round grades on him. And he doesn't go to, until, pick, 207 to the Green Bay Packers in round 6. I don't know what type of character concerns or whatever things were going on there, but there was no way, and I mean no way, that a guy that's 6'5", that runs a sub-4.5 40 at the wide receiver position should be going that late. Now, what? But for him, unfortunately, he lost a lot of money in this process, and it sucks. Also, the early entrants who went undrafted, there were 100-something, I think, early entrants into the draft, and about a third of them didn't get drafted. It doesn't have to be the end of the road by any means. Get to the right situation as undrafted free agent and prove yourself. But it is one of those byproducts of all these guys declaring. A lot of them that should have went back to school now can't just go back to school and play another year and improve their draft stock. And they're at a significant disadvantage because they're just going to be undrafted free agents in camp. And they really have to go above and beyond because they don't have the draft pick attached to them that could potentially help be a difference maker for them and be a tiebreaker. I also look at some of the guys with character issues that went undrafted. Simi Cobbs has had a couple off-field stints. And this was a guy that had a monster game against Ohio State. You would have thought, if anything else, that would have got him drafted somewhere on day 3. He didn't get drafted at all. Desmond Harrison, the offensive tackle for West Georgia. I know he had an off-field issue or two here and there, but was he really that bad compared to Antonio Callaway? Callaway was a talent, yes, But when you look at Desmond Harrison's athletic profile and the position that he plays, it's more impressive than Antonio Callaway's as a wide receiver, yet Harrison went undrafted? I know he needed a lot of work, but it's hard to find tackles that can have that level of athleticism. Nobody took a chance on him in day 3? And Holton Hill, the corner from Texas, again, I know there's some concerns about drug testing and off the field stuff. But again, Antonio Callaway got drafted in the 4th round. You would think Holton Hill, a corner with legit size and a decent athlete, would have gotten taken somewhere on day 3, and it didn't happen. So now for those guys who I'm sure fully anticipated worst case scenario would be drafted somewhere on day 3, now they got to find themselves as an undrafted free agent, get to the right situation, hope they can make the damn roster, or at least if anything else, stick on somebody's practice squad with a chance to make it to the big show, the main roster later on down the road. So, rough deal for them. In terms of the best picks of day number 3, I'll call out a few from like rounds 4 through 6. Josey Jewell to the Denver Broncos. I love that pick. Josh Sweat to the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, exactly the type of athlete that the Eagles should be gambling on as the defending Super Bowl champions. Dalton Schultz, the last pick of round 4 to the Cowboys. This was a balanced, underrated tight end in this class who might have future starter potential, might remind people a little bit of a guy like Jason Witten. He just wasn't utilized that much as a pass catcher at Stanford, and he was sharing time with other tight ends at Stanford who were even more talented. But Dalton Schultz should not be slept on. It was a really good pick, nice pick for the Cowboys. Round 5, Maurice Hurst. He finally gets drafted. The Raiders move up ahead of the Seahawks to get him, and you know what? He has the potential to deliver like a 1st or 2nd round pick. If his heart is good enough and holds up, this is a guy that can make immediate impact as an interior pass rusher. This is a guy that could have some Grady Jarrett type of ability, some Grady Jarrett type of impact. It was arguably the best pick that the Raiders had. They got this day 2 type of talent in my eyes, and they got him at the beginning of round 5. It was a great pick. Shaquem Griffin, I've already talked about it. What more can I really say other than the fact of you get a guy that is a hard worker, that busts his ass, appreciates the opportunity. He gets to play with his twin brother. You get another athlete in the back portion of that Seahawks defense, a versatile guy that can do a lot of things, help you in a lot of areas. More can I say? And then again, Jamarco Jones. There were inferior offensive tackles drafted ahead of him. Some of those offensive tackles that shouldn't even really be viewed as offensive tackles. Jamarco Jones should be. He's got starter potential in the league. It's crazy to me that he lasted that long. And then round 6, I look at Perry Nickerson from Tulane. I thought he was an incredible steal for the Jets in early portion of round 6. This is a guy I had like a 2nd to 3rd round grade on. This is a guy with some size that ran in the low 4.3s at the combine, and he has ball skills. Hell, at this point, I don't care if he did have some off-the-field issues we didn't really know about or not. Round 6? Yeah, it was a great pick by the Jets. DaeShan Elliott of the Ravens goes in the 6th round. Like, I can understand a team gambling on Troy Apke's upside like the Redskins did in round 4. But that was all he was. He was an athlete. He's not much of a football player at this point. DaeShan Elliott is more football player than athlete, but DaeShan Elliott goes 2 rounds later than Troy Apke. He goes 5 rounds later than fucking Terrell Edmunds. Are you serious? That was a massive steal, in my opinion, for the Ravens. Russell Gage going to the Falcons in round 6. I don't know if he'll ever contribute in the NFL as a wide receiver, but worst case scenario, the Atlanta Falcons got themselves a Pro Bowl caliber special teamer. And I don't know about you, but if you can tell yourself that, hey, we're going to spend a 6th round pick on this guy, and this guy could go to the Pro Bowl as a special teamer, you'd probably do it every damn time. Because how many 6th round picks really have lengthy, productive NFL careers? Special teamers can, and Russell Gage is bound to do that, you would have to believe. And then Iyiegbuniwe St. Brown for the Packers. It's almost like Of course, he drops, but he gets rewarded by being able to go potentially play with Aaron Rodgers and give him something at the wide receiver position they really don't have. A guy that's that big, that size, speed combination. There's no rush to get immediate production out of him, but long term? And again, that level of athletic upside at the end of round 6 is insane. It's just insane to me. But anyways, that was day 3, and the 2018 NFL Draft is now over. Next up on this channel, I will release my full big board for the 2018 NFL Draft. That was unaffected by any picks that happened. I just haven't uploaded a video about it yet, but it will have all of my player rankings as much as I could get done, which was like 240-something players that actually had draftable grades on them. Then I will do an overall draft, biggest winners and losers. Then I will do a 2019 NFL mock draft. So you got some hot draft action coming at you, and I might have another surprise or two for you, so stay tuned.